Yes, boys. So today I wanted to talk about a pretty brutal truth when it comes to high ticket sales that I don't see many people actually speak about. And by the end of the video, I'm going to share how I deal with this, how I try to manage this, because I think if you're not careful, it can start to eat away at you. And so, what am I actually talking about? Sales is a game which doesn't really stop. So especially if you're coming from a 9 to 5 background where you have nice cushy weekends and you have a nice salary at the end of the month, sales is nothing like that. So you can have a very big, solid, like full 100% effort month, and you put your invoice in, and the next day it's another month, it's another day. And if you don't put in the same level of work, you're not making the same kind of money. So when I first experienced this, I remember my first few months I went crazy. I put in my invoice, I got paid, it felt good, and then a pretty daunting reality hit me. I was like, yo, if I don't work this month, I'm not able to, I'm able to pay my bills, I've got savings, but if I don't work hard, I don't make money this month. It's not like a 9 to 5 where you can go, you know what, oh, nice paycheck, and now I can go ahead and put another 20% in for the rest of the month. It's not like that with sales. And at first that can be a bit daunting because every month you're having to restart. Your score starts at 0. If it's like a game, your score literally starts at 0 again, and you have to go ahead and put in the work to make yourself money. Now, I say that's a brutal truth, and it is brutal in certain ways, because if you get ill, for example, right? If I snap my leg, or if I have some kind of, God forbid, some kind of accident or something, then there's no, sick pay, no one's looking after my family, and bills are not going to get paid, right? That's the reality. And I'm saying all of these things because I want people to understand what they're getting into with high ticket sales, right? Every single thing in life has trade-offs. High ticket sales is not some, it's not some sunshine and rainbows kind of life. No, it's not. Now, having said all of that, if you was to ask me, would I trade all of these things for my 9 to 5 where I get security, where I get sick pay, where I get all of this stuff? Absolutely not. No way, ever. I would 100% take this life over that life every single day. And it's because, firstly, I can make way more money, right? That's just the reality. In high ticket sales, you make way more money. You can make way more money than you do in a normal 9 to 5. Number 2, I feel driven. I feel purposeful when I'm working. And yes, there's a level of fear. There's a level of pressure. If you don't perform this month, you don't get paid, or you don't get paid as much. So you have to constantly have an internal battle with yourself and show up as that best version of yourself. Now, earlier on, I mentioned how I was going to speak about how I actually manage this. So there have been months where, for maybe 2, I remember this one specific period. It was actually early on when I made the transition. I gave it my absolute everything. I'm talking, I would barely speak to my wife, and I'd be grinding all day, and then we'd quickly go and grab some food, and we'd have our time then. But this was literally 60 days in a row where I did that, where I did nothing else but work. And I remember how I felt at the end of that 60 days. I'm talking literally anywhere between 10 to 14 hour days, every single day, non-stop. I'd have one day off a week, and even those days, sometimes I'd work. So on my offer right now, the sales team, everyone gets one day off. So my day right now is Wednesday. But yeah, back then it was Saturday. So other than that, and even then, I would show up on some of those Saturdays and put in some work. But after that 60-day period, I remember just this feeling of burnout. I did feel it. And I think it is natural, right? Just as human beings, we have a certain capacity. You go over that, and your body will let you know that. And so what I then did was I actively took a bit of a slower period. So I actively told myself that, you know what, okay, this month, or maybe the next week, I'm not going to prioritize being the absolute optimal salesperson, making the absolute most amount of money. I'm just going to be a bit more balanced with this, right? I'm going to book less appointments. I'm going to take less calls. And that was my way of just recalibrating my system and giving myself that. I was just recharging myself to go again, right? Now, you don't want to do this for too long, because again, if you do that for too long, you're not going to be making money. So that's why I always say this to people. Sales is just like a sport. You are constantly rewarded for showing up and performing at the best level. And so if that is the case, you want to figure out ways as to how you are going to maintain a high level of performance over a consistent period, rather than just being a one-hit wonder for 1 month. Because the reality is the next month you have to show up again. And if you don't show up, then you don't get paid. So this is a brutal truth. It is a brutal truth. And it is something that people have to be willing to accept if you are looking to get into high ticket sales. But as I said earlier, and I really want to drive this point home, because this brutal truth, although it's brutal, it does fire me up. It does put pressure. And I think that a lot of times we're told to run away from pressure, run away from stress. But sometimes, I would actually argue a lot of the times, stress, pressure, difficulty, it makes us be the best version of ourselves, right? And like when we just zoom out and look at this big picture, we're living in like this modern day and age where we're talking about a brutal truth being you don't have a salary, a guaranteed paycheck. Whereas back in our ancestors' days, their brutal truth was they didn't know if a new neighboring army was about to come and invade their village. Like, there's levels, right? So it's a real privilege for us to be able to say, you know, oh wow, it's such a problem that in high ticket sales you don't make the same amount of money every single month. First world problems, real talk, first world problems. So when I say all of this, I say all of this to say that even though this brutal truth comes with high ticket sales, for me personally, can't speak for everybody else, but for me, it's no reason to not continue with this life, right? Like in my 9 to 5, I'm getting paid the same amount every single month, but I have no drive. I have no reason to want to work hard. Like there's literally no reason for me to need to show up and be my optimal version. Whereas in high ticket sales, I'm challenged to do that, right? I have to do that. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to speak about today, because I want to paint a very realistic picture of what it means to be a high ticket sales rep, what is required. And I always tie it back to entrepreneurship. I genuinely feel like sales is the best vehicle. If you've never been an entrepreneur, if it's something that you're very new to and you're trying to get into the space, high ticket sales, I think, is the best thing to start with, because it teaches you all the lessons that a new entrepreneur will learn without having to juggle 50 million different things that you would as an entrepreneur. High ticket sales allows you to see all the systems that are being built. High ticket sales allows you to show up and be the best version of yourself. It shows you how to deal with uncertainty, not knowing how much you're going to get paid. Last month, I made the least I've ever made in high ticket sales. That's a reality that I have to live with. That's a slap that I've taken. And I know why that happened. I didn't show up as that best version of myself, right? So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to share today. Hopefully it was beneficial and useful. Yeah, go ahead, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what questions you may have, what I can help with, what you guys want to see, and what you want me to talk about a bit more about. And yeah, subscribe up, follow along. Catch you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum.